So, y'all see the thumbnail. When people give somebody permission to be cruel with no consequence, it means they're allowing that person to hurt, insult, or mistreat other people without being challenged or held accountable. And that permission usually doesn't look like someone openly saying, go ahead and do this. It shows up in the silence, in the excuse, or the fear. It's when people see harmful behavior and don't say anything about it or brush it off with things like, that's just how they are, or you're too sensitive. Sometimes it's because they don't want to conflict, or the person being cruel has power, or it just feels easier to stay silent. Other times, the cruelty actually gets rewarded with attention, loyalty, or even promotion. And when that bad behavior gets rewarded, it usually grows worse. When there aren't consequences, no pushback, no boundary, no real accountability, the message becomes clear. This is allowed. Over time, what once felt shocking starts to feel normal. That doesn't just affect the person being targeted. It changes the whole environment. Silence starts to feel like approval. Fear turns into quiet cooperation. And everybody assumes somebody else will step in and do something. But if no one does, the cruelty spreads, it continues. And when this happens on a national level, it starts to feel like we're without real leadership around here. Like the people who are supposed to guide, set standards, and protect the tone of the country have not taken the helm when it mattered the most. Leadership isn't just about holding a title. It's about setting the limits, modeling decency, and stepping in when the lines have been crossed. When that does not happen, our culture drifts, and cruelty doesn't just survive, it settles in to stay. Let's get into it. I just want you to sit with that. I just want you to sit with what this president has attempted to do. When the highest office in the country posts something like this is not just a meme. This is not just a joke. It's a signal. And today we're going to talk about what this signal says about this leadership and this judgment and the standards that we're accepting in this country. No pushback whatsoever. I thought this person could be cruel because of the man and the woman who got murdered. The wife got murdered by their son. This was shared from the official presidential account. From the presidential account. What you looking at ain't policy. It ain't satire of ideas. It's imagery placing Barack and Michelle Obama onto an ape-like body in a jungle setting. That kind of imagery doesn't appear out of nowhere. It's one of the oldest and most dehumanizing racial characters in American history, comparing Black people to primates. That trope has been used for generations to strip away dignity, to signal inferiority, to reduce human beings to something less than human. And I find it very ironic that a person that could never, ever, ever touch the pants tail, the boots of Barack Obama, would post something like this. But this is what we have, and this is the only thing a racial or prejudiced human being could post about a Barack Obama or anybody else. People keep saying, we're going to post these things because you appear to be X, Y, and Z. Barack Obama has never stepped away from being presidential in any form, shape, or color, ever. He never takes the low road, never. And yet he's denigrated all across this country. He's one of the best presidents that we've ever had, bar none, and will go down in history as such. Now, this would be a different story if this came from a random account or a random post. I mean, it would be offensive then. But when the president of the United States amplifies this, it carries weight. The president isn't just an office that signs bills. It signals what kind of conduct in this country is acceptable. This is what people don't seem to get with this president. This president is representing every one of us across the seas, and he's failing at that. Do you understand what people are saying across the world with this kind of thing? A president posting this kind of thing? They're looking at us like we're dumb or people are stupid in this country. There's a fundamental difference between criticizing somebody's record and portraying them as animals. One is disagreement. The other is trying to dehumanize them. And I would think people would want to stay away from dehumanizing human beings. But we can't overlook the fact that this is the least responsible, least decent president that we have ever had in the White House. He hasn't presented himself in any way, shape, or form as presidential at all. Because you're depicting even other human beings. It is not necessarily specifically Barack Obama, but you attacked another president. You attacked another president that has more esteem, has more respect than you ever could throughout your life. But the people who understand who Barack Obama is and the people who understand what Donald Trump is gets that this is where he lives, and this is where people who like him live. You all who support this president, you live on this base level. We understand that. It's a shame. I wish I would have screenshot some of the things that were said by world leaders and some of the people in other countries, what they said about this particular shot. It's embarrassing. Some of this is embarrassing. The presidency carries symbolic authority, whether people like it from the office or the person or not. Every post from that account, that true social account, is his personal expression. It's the institutional speech. It reflects his lack of judgment. It reflects his lack of restraint, his lack of decency. That's what this kind of picture portrays. His across the world, it portrays him as a lack of decent humility, or a person that has any kind of restraint. That makes all of us look bad. That you can't even come into the Oval Office and treat other people like human beings. This is a bad look for everybody. Okay, this ain't about whether you support Barack Obama. It's about how power is used. This president always wants to use power for negativity, never positivity. That's why we say this is not a president. This is not a person that's supposed to be president for anybody else. He's not supposed to be the president of the United States. We don't need this type of president within our lifetime. All this president does is tear down other human beings, not just Barack Obama, Biden, anybody he doesn't like, he tears down. This is the type of human being that he is. He is the basest human being that has ever held the office. Okay? And all of his supporters take cues from that. This is not cute. This is not cute. It doesn't make us safer. It doesn't make us respected around the world. We are a joke. No, we ain't a joke. He's a joke around the world. I'm sorry. He's a joke around the world, not us. And we look goofy as hell having voted this person in. So the leadership is not measured by how effectively you can provoke your enemies or your critics. It's measured by how responsible you wield your power. Presidents don't just govern through the law. They govern through example. What kind of example are you giving? What kind of example do we have right here? And the worst thing I could say is I'm completely ashamed. I'm completely ashamed that I live in a country where a president would do this right here and think the world respects you. And thinks the world respects you. Because the world, if you read any of the things that came out of the world and people making comments, they don't respect President Trump at all. They don't respect him at all. And this is the only thing I have to say about it. Only thing we can say to the world is we're ashamed. No, I don't want to show the whole video. The whole video is shameful. The whole video is shameful. This country, this is embarrassing. You should look at the posts that people overseas have saying about this. And I was like, oh no, I woke up to this morning. I woke up to this. I was like, are you serious? Did he just do that? Yes, he did. This president has no shame. And apparently don't nobody care. Nobody want to pull the plug on this president in any way, shape, or form. But to put this on a national stage and then let other leaders, other people see this and say, are you serious? Okay. Are you serious? Nobody y'all wild. Nobody respects the pedophile president. I don't know. All I know, I was ashamed today. We were ashamed today. We got shamed today. Okay. I was ashamed to be called an American today. That's how crazy that was. When I got approached by a foreign colleague, and the foreign colleague said, what is your president doing? I said, oh, Lord, what do you mean? What is he doing? What do you mean? What is he doing? And then I got hit in the face with that. What is he doing? Seriously. Yeah. Colleague was like, your president, your president, boy. Your president. I said, that ain't my president. He don't want to be my president. He ain't my president. He said he didn't want to be my president. He ain't my president. I don't claim him. So we finna get to this prayer breakfast. Okay. Here's a prayer breakfast. National prayer breakfast speech. So he had some foreign shit in there. Okay. He had some things to say in this prayer breakfast. So I'm just gonna walk through some of the statements that this person said. That's wild. Here you go with this president.
because not too many presidents have done too much for religion. I want to tell you that. Certainly modern day presidents, they bailed out on you. They bailed out. They want to be neutral. They want to be neutral or against. You know, the Democrats are against. I don't know how a person of faith can vote for a Democrat. I really don't. And I know we have some here today, and I don't know why they're here, because they certainly don't give us their vote.
See, right here. This is how I figured out that the MAGAs, how you MAGAs feel like you guys are the moral authority. You're not the moral authority. Not at all. That's not he can't even put himself in the category of Christian. All the shit that he has done, a prayer break, yeah, that shit, this is way contradictory. Faith is being tied to the political party. You Republicans ain't Christian. Not when you're doing the things that you're doing to people. Not when you're doing the things you're doing to children. Not when you're doing the things you're doing in the Epstein files and don't want them to come out because you know your president is at them. Y'all ain't got the moral high ground. The Republicans ain't got the high ground at all. Not at all. Not at all. He trying to align. What is you trying to align people with? Oh, I'm a Republican, so I got faith. No, you don't. You don't have no faith. You're faithless. Okay. What he's saying is your political choice doesn't match his. If your political choice don't match his, then your faith is questionable. There's people right now walking around this planet who got more faith than this president ever thought that he could or would or should. Okay. And you ain't respected nowhere around this world. That's what really gets me. That's what really get me. You're not respected around the world. He's not respected around the world. And yet you walk around as though you're respected. And then you say, if you're not a Republican, you don't have faith. There's plenty of Democrats that have faith, that are faithful, that are Catholic, that are Christian. We just don't believe in the things that you want to put forth for this country. Okay. A prayer breakfast is supposed to transcend those party lines. Instead, your faith is being framed as partisan loyalty. That makes religion political, and it's a political identity test. That's wild. And we know for a fact that this president probably ain't stepped in church in fucking 30 years. This president ain't believed in Jesus since Jesus was a baby. Yet because this president say, oh, I'm going to take care of I'm going to make sure that they ain't going to be able to have an abortion. You goofies voted for this shit. You go, this the one thing y'all voted for. As long as he protect abortion, I'm going to vote for him. But then you forget all the other nasty shit that this president has done. So as long as he protects abortion, everything else is okay? Everything else is okay? That's the one thing that but everything else is okay? He can be the pedophile. He can be the cheater. Well, we already know that he's a scammer. He's a scammer. Oh, he just playing at being religious. He ain't religious at all. Donald Trump ain't been religious at all. Donald Trump is a scammer. This is a scammer. You see on the screen. He's a scammer. But his scheming, meme coin, all of that stuff is okay, as long as he protects people from having an abortion. He can be a pedophile. He can be any of these things, but it don't matter. This is a scamming president. Scamming. Black Wolf, please don't talk to me. You're mentally ill. And I'm afraid you're the type of person that will find somebody's house and come burn it down. You're mentally ill. Stop talking to me, please. So this person has no faith, but we're supposed to believe that because we don't believe in stopping a person from having an abortion, then something is wrong with us. This is what you hang your hat on. As a MAGA, you hang your hat on a president who, if he don't let them have an abortion, I'll take all the shit that he's done. I'll take the scamming. He'll take my money. Do you know this president is suing the United States? He is suing us for $10 billion. Do you know that he is suing us, the American people, for $10 billion? And every week he starts another suing, goes to the lawyer and sues somebody else. Okay, make sure this. Oh, okay. So I'm like, do you believe that he is suing us, the American people, for $10 billion? This president sues somebody every week. And you and I both know, if I was to tell you that I'm suing this person, suing this person, suing this person, and suing this person, you would call me a scammer. You just want to make money off of people. You just want to sue everybody to get money. Well, this is what that president is doing. So therefore, this president is a scammer. That's what he is. I had that epiphany the other day. I said, what kind of title can we put on this president? This president is a scammer. And he's done this all. Yeah, he is the king of frivolous lawsuits. Richard Crosby. What would you call that? Wouldn't you call that a scammer? Wouldn't you call that a scam? I just want to make sure that I'm correct. Wouldn't you call the frivolous lawsuit person the scammer person? No. Don't be mad. Don't come up here and call me names. Dispute what I'm talking about. Don't come up here and call me names, because your president sues every other week. Every other week, this president sues somebody, whether it's the news, whether it's businessmen, whether it's the American people, whether it's another country. He sues them. That means he's a scammer. That's what that means. He's a scammer. Y'all president is a scammer. Shit. And it did not occur to me. I was like, ain't no way ain't no way people fail for a scammer. Yes, they did.
And for voter ID, but the leaders don't want to approve it. They said they will strike. They will not allow it to happen. It's polling at over 90%. It's called voter identification. When you go to the polls, you show yes, my name is so-and-so, and I live in the country. I'm here, I can vote. They said, that's not allowed. And no, everyone's trying to figure it out. And they do something to win. You know what it is? They cheat. But let's get on to another.
There it is. For some god-awful reason, this person, y'all, I don't understand how people don't see this. How y'all don't see this? He just went to the Georgia. Didn't y'all hear that phone call that I played a couple weeks ago between Donald Trump and all of the Georgia officials? All of the Republican Georgia officials. Y'all didn't hear that phone call where they told him we went over the ballots and the votes 4 or 5 times, Mr. President. There is no fraud in the votes, Mr. President. Didn't y'all hear that phone call that he made? If they told him There was no fraud or anything like that in the Georgia ballots. His Republican people in Georgia told him there was no fraud, Mr. President. We went over the ballots. We went over the voting. We went over everything, sir. There is no fraud here in Georgia. If they told him that, why did he go to Georgia and have them steal or take all of those ballots from Georgia, the rolls and everything? Why did they go over there and take that stuff? Okay. They went over there to take that stuff because they plan on cheating or using it to do something nefarious. A nefarious thought. Why would they need to take it? If your Republican people in Georgia told you there's nothing going on weird or out of pocket with these ballots in Georgia, why would you need to come and get them? They've already been over those records 4 or 5 times. According to Republican people, it's not going to change. The Republican people went to court. They went to court twice. They went to court twice. The Republican people, what's the Bratzenberger? They all went to court twice. And they had to count all of the ballots in Georgia 4 times. There is no corruption or any stealing of the ballots. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Because some of y'all don't get it. There is no voter fraud in our elections. There is no voter fraud. Not to the point where it would sway an election. That's the problem. Everybody seems to be indulging this president in his worst fears. In his worst fears. Yes, exactly, Michael Ross, exactly. It don't have nothing to do with it's going to say we found fraud, so let's take over the election. That's what it's going to be. He knows it's not. He knows it's not pick and grind. He knows it. But you got people in the chat saying that. You got people in the chat saying, look, he said they cheat. That's a sweeping accusation delivered as fact. No evidence presented in the moment, just the assertion that they cheat, that elections are fraudulent. He's going to continue to beat that horn all the way up until the election. You watch, because now they want people. Why is it y'all want to pass the SAFER Act? Why y'all want to do that? Y'all know what happens when they pass that voter ID law that they got on the books right now, that they're trying to pass. You know what happens? Everybody gets kicked off the voting rolls. Everybody gets kicked off the voting rolls because then you have to go back and show an ID and a passport. Everybody. That means millions of people get kicked off the voter rolls and have to go and prove that you're an American citizen. That creates chaos across the whole country. When there has never been any evidence of widespread fraud, this president says they cheat. I don't see the Democrats doing anything that puts them at cheating. But see, that's the narrative that you have people spewing, that you have people saying there's no voter fraud. There is no voter fraud. Not to the extent that it would sway the election. Yeah, this president is a clown. He's a clown, and everybody who works for him is a clown. There is no voter ID. The illegals don't vote. That makes no sense. That you have to do that. We already go through the process of proving that you're a citizen. Nobody has found voter fraud to an extent where we would need to do any of those things that they're doing. Nobody has found voter fraud. Nobody. But they got y'all clowns, Glenn Benton, Anthony, they got y'all clowns believing that there's voter fraud. Okay. They got you. No, they don't vote. Be risen. They don't vote. You're goofy. They haven't proven to be vote. They haven't proven to vote. One person doesn't prove that there's voter fraud. Stop it. So this just reinforces the distrust that people have with the institution of voting, the democratic system itself. You say it long enough, illegals vote, illegals vote, illegals vote. You got goofy people who believe it instead of thinking it through. Instead of thinking it through, you got goofies believing it. And that's all you got to do is think it through. What happens when you go vote? Goofy, goofy, goofy. You have to present an ID, right? Goofy, goofy. So don't they check records back and forth against stuff? Goofy, goofy. And then if the voting is not correct, then they throw that stuff out. No, there wasn't 315 illegals voting. Goofy, goofy, Sean. Y'all see the shit that they got. You see the shit that they come up with. This is the dumb shit right here. They didn't find 315 illegal votes. What they found was ballots that didn't have signatures on them. But those ballots had already been counted and they were legal residents. They just had not been counted. Those were voter ballots that did not have signature on it. It was 318K that did not have signatures on it. You see how the gossip be starting? Then they don't even know what they be talking about. The most counted and most safest election in this country was probably Republicans, because Georgia, because that's the state that they wanted the president to steal. He wanted to steal that state. They voted their stuff. They counted their stuff 3, 4, 5 different times to make sure there was no voter fraud. The Republicans had it counted 3, 4, 5 times. 318,000 votes didn't have ballot signatures on them. They were valid ballots, but they didn't have signatures on them. So stop it. Y'all need to start reading, listening. I don't understand what's going on. Okay. So this is what he got them believing, that this is what is happening in the world. 7, look at the goofy shit right here. I'm not gonna indulge the rabbit hole. All I need, you know what? All I needed to do was see a episode of that Jubilee. Have any of y'all seen that Jubilee? That's all I had to do was see an episode or 2 of that Jubilee of you goofy MAGA people. Once I saw you goofy MAGA people trying to defend the bullshit, I was like, yep, they all think just like that. They all take medication. Yes. They all take medication. Y'all need to go and look at that. What Jubilee is a YouTube show. It's called Jubilee. One Democrat against 20 MAGAs. One MAGA against 20 Democrats. One politician against 20 laymen. It's something like that. You need to go look at it and need to look at your 20 MAGAs compared to somebody else. This is how y'all talk. Jubilee has captured y'all for real, for real. Regular, ordinary MAGAs looking goofy as hell trying to debate because you're all wrong. Let's go on to the next point. Hold on. The next point, he gonna say, he gonna say his goofy shit, of course, right? So here we go.
They were fairly tough, wouldn't you say, Pete? But it's true. We teach people how to fight, and then you put them in jail because they fought a little bit too hard. And we took care of a lot of business, but that's all. We didn't talk about the normal things that a interviewer would be talking about, right? But I saw that, and I saw his love for the military. I was obvious. He was always looking to protect soldiers.
Yeah.
And I said, this is a really smart guy. If I ever get this thing, I got to get it. It wasn't easy, They rigged the second election. I had to win it. I needed it for.
We rigged the second election. That's wild. This conversation. Yeah, you look at the latest version of the Jubilee, y'all. Look at the latest version of the Jubilee with the one black congressman candidate, and so the one white congressman candidate. Is 20 MAGA sitting around trying to dispute the one regular Democrat. It's 20, and it's a black guy. It's the latest version. This is exactly how the MAGA come across. Nobody can take y'all seriously when y'all don't know how to express your ideas. They're not thought out. They're just rambling 3, 4, 5 things at a time, and nobody understands no thought process to what you're saying at all. The one gentleman was on there and he said, I can prove that Democrats don't love our nation. I said, what? And the one congressman, he just was taking them all to task. They couldn't stop it. They couldn't do anything. Just owned completely. And this is how you all present yourself here, the same way. When you stand on the wrong side of history. There is no voter fraud big enough to sway an election. I'm not saying there's 0% fraud. There's people who go into the booth and lie and all of that stuff. Usually they're caught. That's how we know there's voter fraud when they do it. They're immediately caught and it's recorded. But most of the people don't vote. Most illegal people do not vote. Why would they go in there when there's people who can take them to jail? That makes no sense. Well, people say, well, they walked into that place and they don't need no ID. Okay. So you're an illegal alien and you're going to go to a voting booth. And so you're going to figure out where you want to go to vote. Then you want to vote somebody's name, because you got to give somebody's name. You got to make sure you're in the right district to vote. You got to make sure you're the right person to vote, because the person that your name, who you're picking, who you're impersonating, that person may have voted already. So you got two hurdles that you got to get over first. You got to make sure the person that you're impersonating hasn't voted already. Then you got to make sure you're at the right polling station. So you got to get there. Then the third thing is your signature has to match whatever you do. Unless the other two things have failed. That last thing has to be there. There is no voter fraud. Because you have hurdles you have to go through before they vote. And if you get an ID to drive, that ID has a marker on there that says that you're an illegal alien. If I think the 2020 election wasn't rigged, see, it's always rigged when y'all's guy lose. Was it rigged this time too? DVL dog? Was it rigged too? Because Kamala lost. I'm saying it was rigged. Y'all lied. It was stolen from us. Y'all lied. You see how dumb that sound? Because you didn't say nothing about it being rigged this time. So how the hell you think it was rigged the last time when all of the proof has said it wasn't rigged? That's wild. That's wild. No, that's wild. So he said they rigged the second election. He's restating that stolen election claim that he knows is not stolen. Maybe his mental idle brain keeps thinking that he did win, but he didn't win. We got proof of that. This whole uproar happened when he lost. This whole uproar about him losing happened in 2020. So everybody went back and voted and re-voted. I mean, recounted, retabulated. Everybody, every state damn near went back and retabulated their ballots, their votes, to make sure that there was no fraud. All of them already went back and retabulated all of that. Why do you think he went and got Georgia's ballots, Atlanta's ballots? Okay. You all please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. We have content like this every day. We will be going to a shorter form content, 10-minute bursts of content, and we may have a live one, on Sundays, because this is a lot of work. I don't get super chats, so this has got to be, it's got to be meaningful. It has to make money to do this, to be online this long. It has to be have something to do with money component, and I don't get super chats from you all, so therefore I don't make money, not enough money for it to be as long as it is. So we're going to go to one large stream per week, and then the rest of the week are going to be individual videos. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification button. Please, notification for all. Okay. Nobody voted enough to change the election, Wamsley. Nobody. 36 people over a 6-year period were found to have voted fraud, did voter fraud. 36 people over a 5 or 10-year period. I'm not sure what the period time is, but it's 36 people. That's not enough for it to change any election. There is no voter fraud. Okay. They haven't found lots of fraud. Why y'all keep saying that? Just because he says it doesn't mean it's true. It's not true. Okay. The courts have reviewed, reviewed all of that. The courts have reviewed all of that. Investigations happened. Certifications were completed. Yet this narrative continued. This president knows that he lost. He knows that he lost. He told people that he lost. He told people that he lost. Why is it that y'all keep insisting that it's a voter fraud? There ain't no voter fraud. And y'all only think it's valid when y'all side wins. That's not how that works. That idea is very destabilizing, especially when it's delivered in a setting meant to be unifying. Yes, Biden got all those votes. Yes, he did. Biden is a beloved president. I don't know why y'all seem to think he's not. Biden is a beloved president. I don't know why you goofies seem to think he's not. He's more beloved than this president, that's for sure. Yes, this is all fake news, Glenn Levy. You need to go to another channel. You need to go to another channel when you can't handle truths. This is what y'all do. When you can't handle the truth, you call it fake news. I get it. Go ahead. There's billions of channels. There's billions of YouTube channels everywhere, sir. You got my permission to leave. Have at it. Have at it. Let's go to another section that he said. Let's go to another section. Ain't nobody stopping y'all from hitting the door. Ain't nobody stopping y'all from hitting the door. Here we go.
They treated you terribly. The Democrats treated you terribly. Sorry, Mr. Congressman.
Sure I am, Glenn. Sure.
I mean, they had pastors holding services outside. The people were standing 15 feet away from each other, and everybody was arrested. It was like they ran it. They always like to say, Trump is a dictator. They love that I'm not a dictator. But they were like dictators. They were like the Gestapo. They were arresting people for going to church, and they were arresting people and treating people like horribly. And
See this right here, this Gestapo talk is just the rhetoric. They just love, they love, they love to come out and say, we as Democrats are the problem. The problem is, why do people think, why do you all think that Donald Trump's approval rating is so low? Donald Trump's approval rating is so low because the American people are rejecting his message and everything that he is pulling out and standing for. Okay? The American public is rejecting his message. That's not me talking. That's the polls talking. That's just the honest to God truth. Everybody knows that his polling is in the 30s. Why do you think his polling is in the 30s? Okay? Because everybody knows that everybody except you 30% of MAGAs know that he's a scammer. Everybody knows that he's a scammer. Yeah. Everybody knows that he's a scammer. His approval rating overall, it doesn't matter what his approval rating is with the Republicans, Robert Kennedy. His approval overall, he has made the middle. He has made the middle move away from him in horror. Joe Brown, you eat chalk. We're not even gonna have a discussion about that. You eat chalk, and we're not even gonna figure it out. We're not gonna figure it out because people like you aren't worthy of the discussion because you're unhonest actors. Okay. He's framing this as a Gestapo, as though the Democrats are doing or making his poll numbers or making people hate him or criticize him. He's done that all on his own. He's made the world hate him all on his own. Nobody did this to him. These are all self-inflicted wounds that he has produced on his own self. Okay. No, everybody didn't know Biden was an idiot, and Biden is not an idiot. That's your problem. Your problem is you think because the man is old that he's an idiot. That doesn't make him an idiot. That just means he's old. Now, this president is an idiot. There's a big difference between him and Biden. Biden was old. Biden was losing because he was old. What excuse does this man have? What is his excuse? Then he must be an idiot too, right along with Biden, huh? Just dumb. You dumb. They're the same ages. They're the same ages doing the same goofy shit. But even this president is even worse. And this president, so I'm gonna take your word for it. This president is an idiot too. I got you. Okay. I got you. This president is an idiot, just like you call Joe Biden an idiot. This president an idiot too. Let's move on to the next section. Just be saying stuff. Just be talking.
Just that we have the troops, and they are central casting. I love them. I think, to me, it looks much more beautiful. You walk down the street, you have three guys that are 6'6" and angry-looking people, but they actually are very nice. They're angry when they see criminals. That's all. They get angry. They took Tren de Aragua, and honestly, I don't want to say this, but they beat the crap out of them. They beat the crap out of them. They found that they were doing bad things, and Tren de Aragua didn't want anything to do with these.
See, that's the problem with this president. This is rally language. This is not reflective. He's not reflecting. He's not doing anything. The president has nothing to do with the stock market. Why your goofy ass gonna say something like that, Tom B? Why your goofy ass gonna say some shit like that? What's going on? See, this is what we put in charge. We put this person in charge. I don't know why people who voted for him thought he was going to be respectful in any way. Okay? Respectful in any way. This strength doesn't require him to be humiliating for people. He just wants to be combative. He just wants to signal to his goofy supporters that this is what, that we still have dangerous people. You notice they keep beating the same drum about danger and we got to get these criminals out. According to the FBI statistic, the criminals are not as bad as the regular, ordinary Americans. But we got to criminalize the immigrants because the illegal immigrants is why your life is so shitty. Your life is so shitty. The prices are the way they are. I can't buy a house. I can't buy a car. I can't do nothing because of them illegal immigrants. This is why they keep beating the drum about illegal immigrants. The immigrants are what is making your life shitty. This is what is being portrayed, is the immigrants are making your life shitty. This is why we have such anti rhetoric about immigrants, because this president has made it seem as though the immigrants is the ones giving you the trouble, and your life is just shitty. Has nothing to do with the immigrants. Your life is shitty. You made your life shitty. You did it. Nobody else.
About very important things like who to elect. If you said that, you were gone. You couldn't do it. Even if you said it in a very nice way because they were going to be better for the church. And we worked hard, and we're going to make that permanent pretty soon, I think, Mike. But we worked hard at getting rid of the Johnson Amendment. It's gone as far as you can say anything you want. Now, if you do say something bad about Trump, I will change my mind, and I will have your tax-exempt status immediately revoked.
See, even if this is jokingly said, that matters because he will do it. Religious liberty means institutions can speak freely, including criticism about political leaders. This suggests the tax status could hinge on them being loyal to him. And that blurs the boundaries between executive power and religious independence. We are not supposed to be blurring religious expression with the government. Okay. Power casually linked to punishment is not a small thing, and this president keeps doing this shit. Keeps doing this shit. Let's move on.
Federal funding for any public school that pushes transgender insanity. This is crazy. On our youth. Who would think about that? Who would think if you go back 15 years, you're talking about, and I stopped the mutilation of children. The mutilation, the word is mutilation. They mutilize, the mutilation of children. I stopped it. Who would think if you said that 15 years ago, they'd say, what the hell is he talking? Is he crazy?
Yeah, we do think you're crazy. Most of us think you're crazy because they're not mutilating children. That's goofy as hell. And we got goofy goofies who believe that. We actually got people in the chat who believe that there's kids being mutilated out there. This is the people that fall for this goofy okie doke shit. Nobody's out here mutilating children. It's an emotional, charged framing that he loves to pull out. Mutilation is designed to provoke that moral outrage immediately. Abortion. Those women want an abortion. Those black women are having 10,000 abortions a day. That's wild. Medical and legal debates, those are explosive things. And this president loves to pull this stuff out. Loves to pull this stuff out to get the animals riled up at the gate. Wait a minute, the monsters are behind the gate. So let me throw some red meat over there. Let me throw some red meat to the MAGA crowd and then let them get all faked outraged about shit. Kids are not being mutilated. Stop it. You ain't met nobody that's been mutilated. Not once. Not to mention, somebody said something about those Epstein files where Donald Trump is in those Epstein files doing wild shit to kids. Stop it. No, they don't. They don't. No, they don't. You stop believing goofy shit, Black America. Stop believing goofy shit. Okay. Stop believing goofy shit. Ain't nobody taking no kids to goddamn doctor and they changing the goddamn kid's gender and the parents don't know about it. You have to take months and years of therapy, months and years to change that kind of thing. Stop it. Nobody out there performing no damn gender. One day go to school and then they come home something else. Are you serious? Come on. Come on. You come on. Stop believing that goofy shit. Ain't nobody letting no kids do that. And ain't no kids doing that. It takes months and years to change that kind of thing. And ain't nobody doing it in no day. That's wild. That's wild that we got to defend, that you even got to defend that shit. That's wild.
Said are the peacemakers. That's true. The peacemakers are very important. But you can only have peace, I find, through strength. If you don't have strength, peace is very hard. And we have strength. In 1 year, I've ended 8 raging wars, such as Cambodia and Thailand, Kosovo and Serbia, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran, Armenia and Azerbaijan. These are all wars that were, President Putin called me up on Azerbaijan and Armenia. He said, I've been working 10 years to get that war. How did you do it? And I got it done. I got it done too.
Look, ending 8 wars and ending 8 wars in 1 year is historic. That's a wild claim. I don't care what nobody say. When statements like that, when you make sweeping statements like that, you need to explain yourself. Which wars? What agreements? What changed systematically or structurally? What the hell is going on? Big declarations require clear evidence. Otherwise, they function more as they just applause lines. He ain't did that. You ain't did none of that. Okay? But yet you got goofy goofies believing that shit. What ties all of this shit together is the tone. Faith, he's at a prayer breakfast. Faith, language intertwined with partisan loyalty. Election legitimacy is questioned. Democrats are framed as extreme. This shit that he talk about is extreme. You ain't never had no Democrat talk about no wild extreme shit like this. Criticism, linking that with consequences, global claims, delivering with no detail. The prayer breakfast is traditionally supposed to be about humility and moral grounding and moral standing. What we heard is just political theater and confrontation and a whole bunch of bullshit. This ain't about policy. This is about tone. We need to do better. We need to do better, specifically about this goddamn president. He is already, wait a minute, for decades, the national prayer has been one of the few moments in Washington where party lines are supposed to soften and they ain't supposed to talk about that kind of stuff. It's traditional. It's a gathering of lawmakers, faith leaders, public officials meant to stress humility, moral reflection, and unity, even though we may differ in our spiritual principles. It's not supposed to be a rally, but this president makes it like it's a rally, like it's a campaign stop. You're supposed to elevate your tone when you go to places like, that's not what this is. This is not what he does. It's embarrassing. I swear to God, it's embarrassing. And unfortunately, we don't have Republican counterparts to help pave the way. We have no leadership. We are rudderless. We are rudderless. We are leaderless. Now, what happened yesterday? What was this? Benghazi. What's going on? Let's see, y'all.
11th, 2012, Americans watched horrified as our embassy in Benghazi came under a vicious terror attack. We lost 4 American lives that day. Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith with the State Department, and 2 CIA contractors, Glenn Doherty and Tyrone Woods. We have never forgotten those heroes, and we have never stopped seeking justice for that crime against our nation. In fact, from day one, Cash and Dan would sit in meetings and say, we're going to get them. And they did. Today, I'm proud to announce that the FBI has arrested one of the key participants behind the Benghazi attack. Zubair al-Bakhash landed at Andrews Air Force Base at 3 a.m. this morning. He is in our custody. He was greeted by Director Patel and U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro. Hillary Clinton famously once said about Benghazi, what difference at this point does it make? Well, it makes a difference to Donald Trump. It makes a difference to those families. And 14 years later, it makes a difference to law enforcement who made the difference in this case. Thank you, President Trump, for supporting all of our agencies around the country and around the world. Al-Bakhash will now face American justice on American soil. We will prosecute this alleged terrorist to the fullest extent of the law. He'll face charges related to murder, terrorism, arson, among others. Let this case serve as a reminder. If you commit a crime against the American people anywhere in this world, President Trump's Justice Department will find you. It might not happen overnight, but it will happen. You can run, but you cannot hide. We are immensely grateful to our partners, especially at the State Department and the CIA, who lost lives in the Benghazi attack. Director Patel and the FBI agents did tireless work to track and arrest this man.
So we gotta give credit what credit is due. They got the man. They arrested him. So we doing some good in this country, at least, even though the person is going to be impeached soon enough out of her job. She gonna be impeached, but they doing something on the terrorist front. But here's the thing: why do they keep showing us these things? Why do they keep showing us all of these things when they have no need to show us these things? We understand what's going on. We understand that there's problems in this country. We understand all of that. But we don't need to hear about you catching criminals every day. These are things that we don't need to hear about. You see the pattern that is going, the pattern that they're doing, the pattern that they're showing. It's called fear. Okay? They trying to they're trying to put fear in front of us every day. And you know, I for one don't want to hear about fear every day. Did you all hit the like, share, and subscribe button? Like, share, and subscribe button. We have content like this every day. This is the short one. We will be back. We definitely will be. Hey, we going over the Epstein files. No, we going over the Epstein. What is it? Epstein interview. Later on, I'm going to go over the Epstein interview. It's going to be late night. So after everybody done got dinner, everybody done set the kids in the bed, y'all come back. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe. Hit the button. Hit the all notifications because we going to go over the Epstein interview. Talk about it. And then we might have people come up, call, make a phone call, call in, or come on the panel and see what you got to say about this Epstein thing. So please hit the like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. We're going to see what latest news we got about the Epstein files, and we're going to go over that interview. I did not know that man talked like that. I did not know that. That's so unattractive. I didn't expect that to come out of his mouth, the way he talked. But that's just me. That's just me. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. We will be back with the Epstein interview and a little bit more later on this evening when everybody done took care of their business. I will see y'all later. Please come back around 10 or 11 o'clock because I like the midnight hour. Let's come back. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Y'all know I do. come back for the Epstein reading. Come back, or call in. We will be back here.